Hey y'all, hey, welcome back. You are watching and listening to Lex.Between the Lines, and I am your host, Lex. For the most part, I try to stay in between the lines, but I do occasionally cross them. But today, I am going to be on my best behavior because we have an amazing thriller author in our presence, okay? And I am going to let her introduce herself.
Hello. So I am Toni LaRue. I am an NBCC nominated author for Thriller Mystery Author of the Year. I've had several number one releases on Amazon. I am the author of over 10 novels and two short stories, and I also have a best-selling series, Asylum series with that I co-wrote with author Tanisha Stewart.
Come on through, honey.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right on in. Why, what led us to thriller and suspense?
So that story is actually funny. I would say growing up, I've always loved like thriller suspense movies, and
Mhm.
horror is one of my favorite genres. But I did not get into the thriller suspense genre until I was in my early 20s. And it was funny how it happened because I used to work graveyard at this hotel. And for some reason, I did not have a book with me. Normally, I would always have a book to read during the graveyard shift. So it just so happened there was a book in the Lost and Found, and it was The Other Daughter by author Lisa Gardner. And it was a crime suspense novel. So I'm like, I don't have anything else to read. I'm gonna just pick this up, read it, and then in the morning I'll go grab me, some books. And by this time, mind you, I already had published my first book. So I had a book that was already out, and it was not not a thriller. So I'm reading the book, and when I tell you, I was glued to those pages because I was a huge fan of like CSI, Criminal Minds, and that is that was like the mindset it put me into, and I was just like, where has this been all my life? And thriller is one of the biggest genres outside of romance, so I just can't believe it took me that long to just really dive into it. But after that, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to write. So I kind of fell into it a little bit.
So, what were you writing at first? Were you writing romance at first? Wait, why are
No,
you smiling? What were you writing?
not. So my very first book, which is not in print anymore, it was a urban fiction. So because I grew up reading like Kiki Swanson and Kwan and all those like street fiction, urban fiction authors. So I
Mhm.
just kind of gravitated toward that genre because at that time it was really popular. So my first book is actually a urban fiction, but that was my one and only.
So, hey, you went from your one urban fiction, that was your first book, and then you just went
Yes.
straight to like thriller.
Yes, I did a
What?
whole flip. I did. My family still asks for a part two for that first book, and I'm like, I'm not even thinking about that book anymore. Y'all never gonna get it. Stop asking.
Was it like
I've
I
never
don't.
looked back.
Now, but you said it's not in any print or anything, because now I need to go and
No,
see this first book.
no. So when I originally published it, it was still fair, like Amazon, KDP, all that was still fairly new. So it was never an ebook. It was print, and I went to I outsourced the printing company to print my copies. So you can't find it anywhere unless you just happen to know somebody who has it.
One of those things where you got to know somebody who knows somebody.
Yep, yep. I mean, maybe one day somebody will be like, "Hey, I got the first Tony
I
LaRue
got this.
novel." That
You know how they have those limited editions and they come across it and they're like, hey, these only so many of these were in print and let me see somebody. That means I'm going to have to
yep,
go on a deep dive. I need to find this book now. Tony.
yes.
So when you're writing your thrillers, how do you do character development? Like, is it from based off of people you know, or like I've heard some people say they just have the voices that speak to them? What does that process look like?
So for me, I know the characters before I even know the story. I am that I won't say they're I haven't based the character off of anyone I personally know. I may pull different personality traits, different characteristics here and there, but most of the time, all my characters are completely fictional. But once they start talking to me, I will sit down. I will do a character profile. So even if something doesn't make it to the book, I know every single thing about them, at least for my main characters. Like I know their birthdays, I know what they do for a living, I know what their favorite shows are, their favorite foods are. Like I do a complete um character profile to create the characters.
Why do I feel like you have like a white? I'm seeing like Criminal Minds evolution, like with the white, with the whiteboard and the characters displayed and the character traits, and then like real profiling.
No, someone else said the same thing. I was like, I feel like I need to get a whiteboard at this point. I do everything on the computer, but you're the second person that said that. So I need a whiteboard. Like seriously, I'm slipping.
Like where you can see everything. Because how do you have everything on a computer, so you have to like go through the different pages.
Yeah, I use like a spreadsheet, and then I'll have like all their traits, the zodiac, because I'm into astrology, so the zodiac sign. I'll just have everything in tabs on the computer, and it also helps because as you're writing, you forget certain things, like you may forget the color of their eyes or how you describe their skin tone, or you might forget what age you said they were. So it's easier to go back and look at what you originally put versus having to, skim through your book trying to figure out, how old they were.
Have you always used like a spreadsheet to develop your books, or was this like a method that you just kind of developed over time?
It's a method I developed over time. When I first started writing, I was all over the place. I didn't outline, I didn't do character profiles. And what I realized is it wastes a lot of time because you have to constantly keep reading back through everything to make sure, okay, well, did I get this right? Or did I change the age? It's like, oh, on chapter 3, I said her hair was brown. Now on this chapter, her hair is red. So it took a lot of time and a lot of revisions when I wasn't structured. So I had to figure something out.
Goodness, that sounds like a lot. Does is it time? Is this your full time? Are you a full time author, or do you have a second? Do you have a full time job and then it's part time author?
Yeah, so I do have a full time job. I feel like I'm a full time. I have a full time job and I'm a full time author. It never stops. I feel like I'm doing both.
Cause where do you find
It's
time to write? Do you write while you're at work?
sometimes,
You be writing on the clock, Tony. Where do you
sometimes you
work?
gotta get it in.
Do you have like a sit down, like a phone job, or are you moving about?
I work for an outreach program, so I work a lot with like the unhoused demographic or the demographic who suffers from like drug and alcohol abuse and mental illness. So they don't be worried about me
So that
at
sounds
all.
wait, because that sounds like it's hands on, and then you go from that to writing.
You get a lot of inspiration from them. They tell me some stories. They tell me all their business. I'm telling you, they be cracking me up.
I was just about to ask when you said that, and I didn't even know where you worked at when I was about to ask this question. Like, how do you weave in like mental health and like mental stability into your stories? How do you separate your story? Okay, like how do you disconnect from it once you start writing it?
I would say I do not disconnect from it while I'm writing. So once the book is, it's so weird, and there's a couple of other authors in my little circle who feel the same way. It's like once I hit publish and that book is out to the world, it's like my mind will literally turn off and I don't even think about it anymore. Like I will forget character names, I will forget scenes that happen in the book, but while I'm writing, I'm completely zoned in. So I don't want to detach at that time.
But how do you, so while you're writing it, how do you balance it? Like, do you have to just take a break or take a step away? What does that
It
look
depends.
like?
It depends. I will say for Juneteenth, I don't know if you read Juneteenth yet, but that deals with a really heavy topic. So that book was really emotional for me. But honestly, just writing the book was therapeutic. So just getting it out and getting it, getting the entire story typed out was actually therapeutic because to research that story, I literally immersed myself into that character because he lost his son tragically to gun violence. So I was like, I don't know how it feels to be a black man in America. I don't know how it feels to, lose a child to senseless violence. But it was really important that I tap into those emotions. So when I was listening to news articles about like Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, I was like, I just really wanted to embody how that character would feel in these moments. So it was, I was happy, sad, mad, I was all those things. So that was one of the heaviest books that I've ever written. Um, but toward the end, it was very, I felt vindicated. I'll say that because it is still very much a thriller.
I haven't read it yet. It's on my TBR. And it's just the news clippings that like I can remember like in real time those events like unfolding and how it felt, and just seeing it like on the news, and I didn't even do like a deep dive right into it. So the fact that you took the time and you went in and you did like a deep dive into not just one, but you named about three different ones, my heart is already heavy. Like
Yeah.
how,
Yeah.
like did you do
It was
this over, did it take you a minute to put this to get to?
I would say I wrote that book probably in like within a time frame of 4 months. So I at first because it was called Juneteenth, and Juneteenth was originally supposed to be something completely different. It was supposed to be a horror story. Kind of it was supposed to put you like in the mind frame of like a Jordan Peele or some type of satire type of book. But I just kept going back to the same storyline, and I was like, okay, well let me sit down. And so as I was writing it, it's very important. It was very important to me that I not make a mockery of the story, or anyone who has been through a similar situation as the main character. So I didn't want a situation to where you have this black man who just snapped and he just started, you know, killing a bunch of people. I didn't want to tell the story like that. It had to be there had to be some type of emotional tie to his actions. And so that's where his storyline kind of comes in. And with most of my characters, I like to tap into their emotions. Um, and so I was like, you know, I just had to go for it. Like I was like, there's no, I know what it feels like to grieve someone. I know how I felt when the Trayvon Martin verdict was read, and I was like, I just have to tap into these emotions. That's the only way I can tell this story. So that's what I did. It may not have been the healthiest approach, but I had to, I had to do it for the name of the art.
I am speechless right now. Like truly speechless. And because I just watched American Son. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
And when you get a chance, you have to go and
Okay.
watch it. And that's why I was just like, I literally just watched this like a couple of days ago. And so That's why I was like, I haven't read Juneteenth yet, and it's been on my TBR. And at first, we watched the Jussie Smollett, and then right after that, we were like wide awake, and we went right into American Son, which I don't know why we watched that back to back. But then it's like here, I didn't know that Juneteenth was. I don't know. I thought it was like a revenge, but I didn't know that it dived into, because I like to go into books blind, and I don't be
Hmm.
knowing what be going on until I start reading and getting the plot. So now I'm just like,
Yeah. But I will say it is very much still a thriller. I categorize it as either like an action thriller. Some people have called it a political thriller
mhm.
because of the storyline. So it's still a lot of action in it, but it does deal with a heavy topic, and it is a vigilante justice thriller. So it's all
Yeah.
those things, but
Okay, I have a question. Vigilantism, and I don't even know if that's a word, and revenge. How are they on the scales in your books? Like, are they about the same, or is there like its own moral code?
for Juneteenth, I will say this: the character was definitely had to definitely call into questions his morals and his integrity, because there were certain things that morally he did not want to do, but the way that justice looked, he had to cross certain boundaries in order to get justice for his son. I'll say that. So
Now I have to bump it up. Now I have to go ahead, and then I'm gonna have to bring you back after I read it, because we're gonna
yes,
have to
please.
go in
We
depth.
gotta
Now we're gonna
dive
have
into it.
yes, and I actually wanted to come and talk about the perfect profile. And look, we gonna hold that thought, and we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back with more questions from Miss Toni. Okay, guys, we are back off of commercial break. And I want to know, what stereotypes and thrillers do you want to challenge or avoid in your work?
So stereotypes, I will say first, not necessarily stereotypes I want to avoid, but I just want to put it out there that Black people do write thrillers, because that still is a thing. So and it's so weird to me. So, like when I first started writing thrillers, I knew it would be an uphill battle because I didn't see many people that looked like me
Hmm.
writing thrillers. You had like Walter Mosley. I don't know if Wanda Morris was out at that time, but they were far and few in between. So when I was looking for books to read that were in the thriller genre with Black characters, I could not find them. And so that's one reason I was like, I definitely have to write thrillers that feature Black characters. But even now, there's still like a stigma when it comes to Black authors writing thrillers, Black readers reading thrillers. I would say book talk has definitely expanded people's horizons. So I'm so fortunate for that. But it's so strange. Like you will still get people who will post asking if there are Black thriller authors, and it's just like, hey, like where you been? So that is something I wish would change.
That's crazy you said that, because I had just told when I spoke to Kira earlier, like people, I've been doing like the Thriller Thursdays and stuff, and people are like, hey, have you read this person, or have you, and I'm like, everybody has read or heard. That's why I'm posting these people to introduce you to new thriller authors.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like book talk too, because you can actually put in. That's why I try, when I read like a black thriller or a black indie, I try to hashtag it or put that in the captions. So if people would take the time to like search and put like black thriller or black thriller mystery horror, it will pop up.
Yeah.
Do you write horror? Are any of your books classified as horror or
Um,
splatterpunk?
not splatterpunk, but like the Asylum series. The I would say the first book is horror, and then it kind of morphed back into thriller, like psychological thriller or psychological horror. But I do dabble a little bit in horror.
I was trying to see did you say you and Tanisha? Who's that collaboration with?
Yeah, me and Tanisha Stewart.
How did you guys meet?
So how did we meet? I want to say she was advertising. It had something to do with bookmarking, and I want to say it was she was advertising her her package for like teaching people how to do like Amazon ads and stuff. So I had
Hmm.
reached out to her for that, and so while we're doing our little court, it was like a little one-on-one consultation. She was looking at my books and she was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna read something tonight," and I'm thinking like, "Yeah, okay, thank you." And then, the next day she was like, "Oh, I love this." She was like, I read the other one." So I feel like from there, we kind of start building a relationship, and then it was also her idea to bring myself, Kenya Mostein, Octavia Grant, and herself into the Black women who write thriller horror suspense Facebook group. And then from there, we just, she's stuck with me now.
Listen, you guys don't know what you did when you opened up that Facebook group. And like I was telling her, that paper, who would have known? I know it's crazy. And I know you had just said that a lot of people don't know and they're still asking and stuff, but I did not realize we had that many thriller women. Because I think, it was just women on there? On that list that's going around the thriller, is that women or
Say
is
she
that a
probably have some men on there because you have like Brandon Massey, S.A. Cosby. So I wouldn't say there are some men, not a lot, but there are some on there.
wow, the
But
women
the
writing all
men
the
the men be dipped off into the shadows. It's like we don't see y'all. We out here working hard trying to promote everybody and they just be tucked in the corner somewhere. It's like, come on now.
man. I still have to read Brandon and Essay. I have a long TBR list that I need to really get to. So
Oh yes, you do. Brandon Massey is one of my favorite. I got to meet him at the ICU event. I was so excited.
wasn't that recently?
It was like a couple weeks ago.
How was that experience like meeting him?
Listen, I was trying to be so cool and calm, but my head was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening.
Did we have
So
like
we
a
got to
fangirl
chit
moment?
chat. In my head, I was trying to be professional, and it was so cool because he actually came up and introduced himself to me like I don't know who he is. But we had the opportunity to talk several times during the event. And I actually sent him a copy of Juneteenth. So he said he was gonna read it. So fingers crossed.
So now we gotta watch to see for his review.
Only if he loves it.
He's gonna love it. All of your right is phenomenal. He's gonna love it. Did you have like a moment to kind of like get any advice from him, or was anything shared?
No, not during that time. We were mostly because he was trying to figure out which book he wanted to buy. He bought Never Say Never. That's how the subject came up that I would send him Juneteenth because by the time he came back around to my table, Juneteenth had sold out. So I was like, "Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. I'll send you one." So that's how that happened. But it was so busy and everybody kind of had to stay stuck at their tables. So we didn't get to really dive into a lot. But it was cool. He was such a cool, pleasant person.
Were you on a panel there?
No, not at ICU. I don't think they have panels at ICU. So I just had my table where I was selling books. I'll be
Is
on the
this
panel for B3, the Black Book
and
Bash.
and on October 3rd?
Yes.
I heard y'all have y'all own corner, like the thrillers, a thriller section.
I want to say how she and when I say she, Casey is one of the organizers. I want to say she has it separated by genre, which I thought was a pretty cool idea.
Is this like your first? That's not your first event, the ICU.
The ICU was technically my first event. I had done one some years ago, but it wasn't a book event. It was just, where you it was different vendors and I was there. And then after that I hadn't did an event until ICU. So ICU was my official first book event. But now y'all gonna get sick of me. I'm about to be outside. I got some dates lined up next year already.
Are you gonna be at Black Romance Book Fest?
No, I don't write romance, Lex.
But I meant, are you coming? Look, wait, am I fortunate? Like maybe we get a thriller romance.
I have the hardest time writing romance. My hat goes off to them. I don't know how they keep stories interesting only talking about love. I cannot do it. My character, even when I try, I've been writing a book called The Swindler and I haven't put it out yet because it's not finished because you have to kind of build up to the part where she swindled so that it's believable. And so he has, they're dating and stuff. And when I tell you, me and the characters are like, can you hurry this up? It's so hard for me to write romance.
I felt like there was a little romance in the perfect profile though. Like I felt like there was a little romance. It was a
I get
little.
you there. A little sliver of it. That's about all I can squeeze out.
It definitely was enough to make me. I just knew that they were going to get together and like they were going to be. We were about to get this happy ending with them like a couple, and it was like almost. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm good with like I can incorporate a little of that romantic tension between people, but it's nothing that I can't flesh it out for some reason. It's just like, okay, we meet, there's a little tension, and then we go on about our business because most of the time the people don't end up together.
I just knew like more like I just like knew, especially after all that happened and stuff. Like I don't want to give any spoilers or anything, but like after they went through all of that, I just knew like, okay, we're gonna be stuck together now. So we can
Right,
get
right.
married or, we can grow old together. And I was just like, well dang.
You know,
We
it
not
was
gonna have no, and I like a baby, like a pregnancy trope. So I was like, dang, she not gonna have no baby, and
okay.
they not gonna pass this down to nobody else.
They don't need to have no kids
They really don't. Neither one of them.
at all.
Goodness. So, do you have any upcoming work that we should be on the lookout for?
I do. I have several projects coming out. So I just announced Safe House, but that is not scheduled to drop until December 31st. But in the meantime, Tanisha and I will be releasing books, books 5 and 6, I think, from the Asylum series. That will be out in October. And then me, Tanisha, Kira, and James, Kenya Moss Dime, we have the Wreck the Halls Christmas anthology where we will be destroying Christmas for everybody. So we cannot wait for that.
There won't be any romance in it. What y'all about to put together? All of
Probably
y'all,
not.
listen, all of y'all together. This sounds like, let us see it on the group chat. Because I know it's
I
jumping.
mean, the group chat is wild. Let me tell you, the group chat. I remember I had a question and I was just like, I need, more unique methods of torture. This was I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of my question. And then when I tell you, because Lynette King, if you haven't read her books, she's like horror. She's dope too. So Lynette King is in the group chat, and when I tell you, she was like, "Oh, you could do this, 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 this," and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
I'm side
She
eyeing
gave
y'all
me
because
so many ideas,
how do you have those ideas? Like, where did you get this from?
and it's be early in the morning. I'm still in bed, and I'm just like, how can we do this?" Because after a while, you get tired of killing people the same way. So you want, you need to shake it up a little bit.
It's the you get tired of killing people a
Yeah.
certain way. Ma'am, only in thriller, only in this genre can you say stuff like that and get
Right.
away
And
with it.
it's normal, right? It's just like, oh yeah, you can do this, 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 this. And it's like, oh, thank you. Good looking out. Like,
Like you just talking about the weather in books.
yes, we all have very dark minds. And I feel like we like the sweetest people. That's the craziest thing. Outside of writing, we're
All y'all look like y'all bake cookies and stuff. Like the next door neighbor, the unassuming neighbor that's probably got a body in the
right.
fridge, but just don't know. Like this little lady wrote this.
Listen, yes. And I love every minute of it.
Child, I forgot my next question. I'm still stuck on the ways to murder.
You got to switch it up a little bit.
How do you know what trauma is going to be? Tony, you got to switch it. Okay, how do you know what trauma to put in your stories? Like,
So it really depends on the story, on the theme of the story. I always try to relate the trauma to whatever theme it is so that the character could hopefully, because it don't happen all the time, but could hopefully overcome, their traumatic past. So it usually they usually kind of correlate together.
there's a resolution to the murdering
Yeah, and then you
or
also
the
I try to create dynamic characters. So my whole goal is not to create these perfect characters. So I'm gonna give you all aspects of them, which is one reason why I do like to dive into their trauma because we have to humanize them in a way. There has to be a reason for their actions so that you can so that not justify it, but to humanize them. So it just all depends on the story. I usually would have the story and then I would kind of see what trauma I can include in there, you know, to help develop their characters, to help develop the story, and to have a message. So
do you use like sensitivity readers or do you just use like just your group?
I do none of that. I
Wait,
feel like
you just put it out there.
I feel like when it comes to I feel like when it comes to thrillers, you should already expect there to be triggers. It's rare that you will find a thriller that doesn't dive into some kind of trauma. So I feel like if you read the back of the book, then you could kind of figure out or determine what trauma the character is dealing with. But I feel like as a thriller author, I'm gonna push those boundaries. It's just is what it is. It
So
is
you
what
read
it
at
is.
your own risk. You
You
read
read
at your
it,
own.
but and I feel like I'm pretty tame compared to some of my pen sisters. I feel like I'm actually the tamest one out of all of them.
The tamest one.
The tamest one, because they crazy. I call them crazy. That so so I don't think mine is really that bad. I would say for me, I really do try to dive a lot into um the emotional. triggers. So that can, so that makes it a little bit more like if you do have those triggers, it can make it a little bit more real for you. But I think I'm pretty. Think I really have anything that should trigger somebody to that extent. Hopefully, I feel like I make it pretty. I handle it with care. I handle it with respect. Um,
There's like
but
an
yeah,
etiquette
no,
to it.
I think so. I
Okay.
think yeah, you have to understand that, there are real people who go through these things. Like my book that I will be releasing, Safe House, she is a domestic abuse survivor. So that, there's a lot of people who have gone through domestic abuse. So you never want to make a mockery of someone's trauma, but I did use that trauma to help develop her character and hopefully overcome those her traumatic history. So
When it
now
comes
she is
to
fighting serial killers, but
wait, she's fighting serial killers.
yeah, so yeah, the premise of the book is she's fleeing her abusive husband. So she is um staying at an isolated cabin, and she just happens to um encounter a serial killer couple.
Tony, these black people. Cause why they at a cabin? Cause why these black people at a cabin in the woods? It's in the woods.
So the main character is black. The serial killers are not black. Black people we are dynamic, okay?
We be doing too much. Cause why y'all? And it's crazy you said that because my massage therapist just said last weekend her boyfriend went on their anniversary and she was like, "We're going camping," and she showed me this little tiny thing like in the woods, and I'm just thinking like, why the hell would y'all go out in the woods? And it's
Listen, I'm not going to the woods, but she needed to be in the woods at that time. I'm not going. It's not for me, but it was for her.
did her husband? I got so many questions. Did her husband take her to the woods?
No, so the reason she ended up there is because her husband has a lot of resources. So he's pretty powerful. So she did not want to stay at the local shelters because she's like, it'll be easy for him to find me. So she stayed somewhere that was more secluded
She had to go out
to
free.
make it harder for him to find her, you know. And she just in trouble found her instead. Poor lady.
She left one situation and got into another. Goodness.
Yeah. But hopefully it help build her character.
Let's hope she come out on top.
'Cause you never know. In my books, you never know if the main character will survive the night. But we hope that she survives the night.
One thing Thriller has taught me is that there may not be a happy
Exactly.
ending.
Yes, do not expect every ending to be happy. It will be resolved, but it may not be happy.
Be making us want to throw these books.
Because life is like that. Not every situation has this full circle moment. Sometimes you are left with the pieces and you have to figure out how to move on from there. So I feel like thrillers are more realistic to life. Even though you may not ever encounter some of these situations, the overall themes are more realistic.
Listen, the more I read thrillers, the more I be like, I don't know if I want to say I be paranoid because I be like, this shit can really happen. Like it's exaggerated, but it's not like it's real to
To a certain extent, it is.
yes. Like this could actually happen.
Yeah, and let me tell you, like, and an avid horror lover. I love horror movies. That's my top genre that I watch. And one, like, I'm cool with like ghosts and all that. That those type of movies don't really scare me. The ones that scare me the most, that I will not even watch alone, are like home invasion horror, because I'm like, I will wake up in the middle of the night and I'm checking the Ring camera. I'm jumping out of bed, looking out the window because I know I done heard something. Because I'm like, these things, something like this could really happen. Um, so those scare me the most, and that is why Safe House is similar. That's why I wrote Safe House. I'm like, the things that scare you are the things that can actually really happen. Those are the scariest movies to me.
They really are. That's why the movies you got to watch cartoons
Yeah,
afterwards.
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Yes, I listen to horror stories to go to sleep, so I'm I'm terrible.
I'm staying. I'm staying between the lines. Cause what? Do you have a spouse?
I do.
Wait, they let you listen to horror stories before you get to
Yeah,
bed?
I have my earbud in. I'll usually have one earbud in, and I usually either listen to dating app horror stories, or what's my other favorite? Or like creepy neighbor horror stories, and you can find them on YouTube. The only ones I will not listen to at night or if I'm alone are the home invasion ones. I have my limits. I will not listen to
Did
those.
you just say I have my limits?
Yeah. But I love dating out horror stories, and I love like the creepy neighbor or the new house horror stories. Those are really good too. And I'll just pop my earbud in until I fall asleep.
Meanwhile, I'm over here listening to
The white noise.
the ASMR people, the people that be tapping on the damn microphones and stuff with the light. I be like, you see this light, but you over there listening to whole horror stories.
I do. I do. Terrible. I'm addicted. I swear I am. I'm addicted to it.
Baby, when I say I got an earful today, I got exactly what I was asking for. I got exactly what I was asking for. I enjoyed you. I thank you for coming and spending time with us. Let us know where we can follow you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. You can find me on most socials. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on IG and TikTok under Toni LaRue.
I'm gonna blame it on the stuff you be listening to at night. Got your mind. Baby, I'm gonna try that tonight. I'll let you know how it worked listening to.
Let me know.
I'm probably gonna wake up scared. And baby,
You might go on. You can go to YouTube and you can type in like bedtime horror stories, and it'll give you different topics. So if you want to start with like the dating app horror stories, because at least you know you're not going
I
on
don't
no
have to
date.
date. That's a good
Exactly.
idea.
So start with that one.
Cause a home advice, I don't think I would ever listen to the home.
Yeah, listen, I gotta listen to that first thing in the morning so that by the night is not in my head anymore. But I cannot listen to that going to sleep. So
Until next time, thank you guys for tuning in. Y'all have the most
thank
amazing
you.
day.